Hi, I'm Alois Bunjira and you're listening to the ZiFM Sport Podcast.
Zimbabwe's finest radio. ZiFM Stereo.
It's Lionel Messi! He scored! The goal the world wanted!
It's time for the biggest sports stories.
It's Neymar trying to feed it through. It's a stretch and it's in! And I can't remember the last time I saw something like this. Extraordinary scenes.
The biggest interviews.
It's more difficult. Obviously, it's more difficult.
And all the analysis right here.
If they play poorly, they come back, they've got all excuses. You can't have it both ways.
Every weekday, it's my sport, it's your sport. It's ZiFM Sport. Let's join the team for the biggest show in the world of sport on ZiFM Stereo. My station, your station.
Good evening, Zimbabwe. Welcome to it. ZiFM Sport on a Wednesday. Wacky Wednesday music by Plastic Toy and DJ Snake. That's our power play that gets the show off to a banging start. And then we'll continue telling the story of Sean Paul. And did you know that she was a champion swimmer? We told you that yesterday, coming from a family of champion swimmers as well as water polo players. We'll give you a bit more information on the life of Sean Paul, one of the most celebrated dancehall artists to come out of the world of music in the last 2 decades. But with that is a bit of sport, and we've got some fascinating stories for you today. On the home front, the Warriors' preparations for the final AFCON qualifier are progressing smoothly, and the team held a training session at the Harare International School this afternoon. In our international sports news, World Rugby has outlined its vision for a new global competition that it says will boost investment into the game. And in the beautiful game, we have updates out of the Premier League, the Bundesliga, as well as LaLiga, and then we'll give you the big stories that are shaping the latest international break to help you shape your opinion, to help you shape your view on the world of sport. Is the top sports team in Zimbabwe. Mark Pozzo, Alois Bunjira, Barry Manandi, Sean Tafiranyika, and my name is Mike Madoda.
The Warriors, the Chevrons, the Cheetahs, the Mighty Warriors, and the Sables. From the pool to the track to the field, we are Team Zimbabwe. The Home Front. Local sports news and analysis.
The battle cry of our Warriors, the Zimbabwean senior national team. They go into battle this coming Sunday, and their preparations for their final Africa Cup of Nations qualifier are progressing smoothly as they held an afternoon training session at the Harare International School. The Warriors have a make-or-break showdown against Congo Brazzaville on Sunday at the National Sports Stadium. In the words of Admire Taderera, the giant National Sports Stadium, where they need just a point to qualify for the AFCON finals in Egypt. Captain Knowledge Mswona feels he is in fine shape to lead the country's final bid to book a place in the continental showpiece. The smiling assassin has been the mainstay of the Warriors since making his debut, and as such has been his impact on the squad. He is now widely considered as a worthy successor to the talismanic former captain King Peter Ndlovu. You agree, Michael?
Yeah, absolutely. Nowhere near the same level.
No.
Make no mistake about it. I think Peter Ndlovu was a special talent.
Yeah.
Peter Ndlovu used to put bums on seats. Peter Ndlovu, whenever
and take them off
whenever he got the ball,
And get them off as well while you're watching.
When we were in the stadium, whenever the ball went to Peter Ndlovu, no matter how desperate the situation, we took our bums off the seats. We had hope, and Knowledge Mswona is nowhere near that level. But of this generation, Knowledge Mswona for me is the player that I rate as possibly the most important warrior. When he's on top of his game, Knowledge Mswona, not only does he thrill and entertain, he's got an eye for goal, and he scores some spectacular goals. He is a smiling assassin, so very good player. He's important to the cause of the Warriors, and he is needed to put his hand up once again this coming Sunday versus Congo Brazzaville.
He's been touted to have a slight knock, and they were going to assess him. It looks like he participated in training this afternoon. Does that please you, Bunch?
Yeah, I hope he is fully fit, because I agree with Mike 100% that we need him. He is the talisman. He is probably the best player in that team, the most influential player as well in that team. He scores important goals. He has carried the national team for the past 3-4 years.
That's true.
He has scored very important goals, and we need it. And let's give it to him. When it comes to statistics, he is actually better than Peter. When it comes to goals per match, he has got a better scoring rate than Peter as well. So we need to respect that kind of goal scoring, and we need it for this coming match against Congo. Who better to look out for? Who better to look for glory? You know, when it comes to this match, this is a crunch match, and we need a win, and a win can come from Knowledge Musona.
Yeah, win can come from Knowledge Musona, but he's going to have to have a supporting act. And we know that Sunday Chidzambwe has stuck mostly to the formula that he knows, the formula that has worked for him. But he's included a few other players, hasn't he, Pos? And you could see if those players show up and show a bit of promise and are blooded into that team, we've probably got a very formidable squad that we can rely on.
I think looking at this squad, it's one of the best we've had for a while.
It is, it is.
Certainly, if we don't go out there and do the business on Sunday, I'll be very, very surprised.
Yeah, very surprised for all of us in the studio. But it's no give me. But those players who have been called up by Sunday Chidzambwe, it's a question of how quickly they are able to gel, able to adapt to his tactics. Let's hear from the man himself, Mofu Sunday Chidzambwe, and find out what's been happening at training and how the Foreign Legion are gelling.
They are good players, and we'll see how we're gonna fit them in. And also for us coaches, I think it's going to be difficult for us to pick the first 11. But however, we have to pick the 11 and play the game. The 28 guys are here except for Nakamba, who is injured. And I think from what I've seen, I think everyone is ready to go.
Everyone rearing to go. He claims that he's going to have a struggle to pick the side, but Mofu's not one who we find 8 changes of the team that played the last time. You don't get that.
He's a very predictable coach, and I mean that with respect.
Sure.
I'm sure Mofu knows probably 9 out of the starting 11. He knows who's going to be playing and who's going to be playing in which position. I think it's just about how he's going to approach the game. I think that may be something that they're working on throughout this week. The approach. Do they go for a safe approach where they say, okay, the objective is to qualify, let's secure the draw, let's make sure we make it difficult for this team? Or do they go for the approach that Alois and I are punting for, which is get the win, get 2 goals early, control the game, get a third if you can, and make sure
That's
that you give the fans something to celebrate at the National Sports Stadium on Sunday, because what we need is that boost in confidence. You know, we don't want to just get over the line. We want to qualify top of the group with and momentum. Go to Egypt with momentum. And other teams also looking over their shoulder and say, you know what, guys, there's a team called Zimbabwe. If we don't play well against Zimbabwe, be careful. Those boys can take us.
Yeah, that statement is very, very important, Mike. And as well, the fans, remember the fans, we want to go there and watch a Warriors team that is playing good football, that is dominating. We also want to have confidence. You know, we don't want to spend 90 minutes with our hearts in our hands and, you know, like struggling. We can't go there and play for the draw that one. It's not safe, because a draw, look, if we are still 0-0, a goal can be scored in the last 5 seconds of the match. We have seen it happening. It has happened before in 1992. The goal was scored in the last 20 seconds of the match. So we still remember. I'm telling you, the national stadium went dead quiet.
You could hear a pin drop.
And people couldn't believe it. And the thing is, the ball didn't even hit the net. It just went over the line and stopped there. And people were trying to, did it go over? They just saw the Congolese celebrating there, and that's how we thought it's good. So we need,
and it's the same Congolese
side. It's the same Congolese side. So we don't want history to be repeating itself. We just want to get the strength of them. Go for it. Go for Brock. We have actually the attacking team that we need for this. We have got Ovid, we have got Kama Billiard, we have got Kudama Hachi, we've got Knowledge Msona. Look at that.
We've got talent.
We have the players to just be go out and get positive and get the early goal, especially the early goal, also to get the spirit of the fans.
Can I give you some good news, guys? The Congolese star player, Thierry Bifuma, he has not recovered from a knee injury and he is set to miss the game.
Yeah, sadly so, but we're not complaining the side of
It'll be nice to beat Congo with him in the team. But the fact that he's not going to be there means that for our defenders, it's less work because he's a genuine match winner, Barry.
Genuine match winner, very good player and can keep you busy. And look, guys, I'm not going to be altruistic about it and say, oh, sad for the player. I'm happy that he's not in that game. Even if they come with 7 players, I can only make a team. That'll be perfect for me.
I'm Sande Chidzambwa, the Zimbabwe national team's head coach, and you are listening to ZiFM Sport.
We move on with the rest of our local sports news roundup. We'll go to the swimming pool where the Zimbabwe swimming team began their battle for silverware in the most prestigious South Africa National Junior Championships at Kings Park Pool in Durban today. Team Zimbabwe has 17 junior swimmers and left the country yesterday for the 4-day meet that will see more than 10 African countries, including swimming giants South Africa, Zambia and Kenya, taking part. Team manager Tracy Dorman expects a tough event. Among the swimmers who are expected to do well at this meet is the Zimbabwe team vice captain Wisdom Shumba, who last weekend scooped 6 gold medals at the National Junior Championships in Bulawayo. To tennis, and Zimbabwean representatives Kudzai Chapepa and Brooke Black lost their opening matches in the girls under 12 tennis Southern African junior team competition at Bulawayo Country Club yesterday. Chapepa lost her first match 6-1, 6-1 to Jordan Morgan, while Black fell 6-3, 2-6, 7-6 against Amelie Van Zyl. Black, who is the daughter of tennis legend Wayne Black, was the top Zimbabwean seeded player in the competition. To motorsport, and Zimbabwean off-road motorcycle rider Graham Sharp has stepped up preparations for the 2020 Dakar Rally by competing in the 5th annual Yokohama Sonaras Rally, which is currently underway in Mexico. The 5-day event, staged in an incredible desert region and modelled around the Dakar Rally, began on Monday and ends on Friday. Sharp had a decent start to the event as he was placed 29th out of the 45 riders on the provisional standings at the end of the first stage that stretched from San Luis Rio Colorado to Salina.
Qualcomm, the home of great food, celebrates its 75th birthday. As a thank you to all our customers, we have amazing price cuts on all your favorite products. Enjoy unbelievably reduced prices on our frozen boerewors, breakfast and ready-to-eat sausages. Celebrate 75 years of wholesome, tasty goodness. Available at all leading retail stores and Qualcomm shops nationwide. Qualcomm, 75 years of greatness.
Tiles is celebrating its 25th anniversary, and we are slashing prices by up to 20% on all our ceramic tiles, porcelain tiles, and our laminate flooring. Yes, you heard right, 20%. Visit us at 5 Samora Machel Avenue and our state-of-the-art showroom and fully stocked warehouse at 80 Simon Mazoredze Road. Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. Don't miss out on this crazy offer. Hurry while stocks last.
Need mileage for your business? La Decima Print House is your all-in-one printing solution. Your one-stop shop litho printing for all your flyers, brochures, newsletters, church posters, company profiles, annual reports, all quick BizHub digital stationery printing, dissertations and general, photocopying services, HP large format printer for office signage branding, vehicle branding, and banners, DTG M6 industrial digital t-shirt and fabric printing, corporate gifts, and many more. La Decima Print House has packages that can be tailor-made to suit your business's unique printing needs. To place your order, call La Decima Print House on 0772 413 603 or 242 446 466, or visit us at Unit 9B, 75 Roberts Drive, Masasa, Harare. La Decima Print House. If you can think it, we can ink it.
Here we go again.
Enjoy world-class radio online. ZiFM Stereo is available on TuneIn. Search for ZiFM Stereo and you got it.
From the front of the grid to the back of the net, it's ZiFM Sport. International Sports News Roundup, where the world comes out to play.
Just a reminder that our WhatsApp number is 0731 168 045. That's 0731 168 045. Keep your hashtags ProFeeds Trivia coming in. You could be the one lucky listener that we get to call back. And also keep your thoughts, your opinions coming in on the different stories that we are dishing out to you on Wacky Wednesday. Now, front and center in our international sports news is rugby, where with plans to reshape the international rugby calendar, dividing opinion between organizers and players, World Rugby has outlined its vision for a new global competition that it says would boost investment into the game. After a meeting in Dublin last Thursday, World Rugby announced that the sport would receive $6.6 billion in investment over the first 12 years, $2 billion of which would be guaranteed revenue for the World Game from a deal struck with a Swiss-based sports marketing company in front. The format of the new competition, dubbed the Nations Championship, would see the Rugby Championship expanded to 6 teams, with Japan and Fiji, based on the current world rankings, joining New Zealand, Australia, Argentina and South Africa. Rugby Championship teams would then face teams from Europe's 6 nations, meaning each country plays at least 11 games a year. Now, World Rugby Vice President Augustin Pichot is optimistic that a vote on the proposed format will take place when the Council convenes in May, with the changes being implemented from 2022 if they are passed. Let's hear from Augustine.
Confusion is the right word. I think there has been discussions, obviously, of who will participate, but mainly the concept is 12 plus 12. Who are those 12 in each of the bands? It's a question that is being resolved. It hasn't been resolved, and that's where the confusion came. Basically, the most important thing is that there's a pathway. Whoever is by merit in those 12 and in the other 12, whoever is there has to have a merit based, and also has to have a pathway if you're in the bottom 12 to go up and be part of the top 12. Like in every sport, this has agitated a lot of things, and that's the first reaction is to boycott. And I understand the feeling of, oh, they closed the door and we have to protest against it. But if there is no closed shop, why would you protest? So I think it's a question of communication.
Yes. Now, initial plans for the top 4 Six Nations and Rugby Championship teams to then play semi-finals have been scrapped amid concerns for player welfare. World Rugby is now proposing that just a final will be played between the top 2 teams, and it's all about making sure that the workload, Barry, is managed for the players, because the players themselves were concerned with playing too many high-octane, high-intensity test rugby matches over the course of the year.
Which is fair enough, and this is just to answer all of those out there thinking that these guys are being crybabies. They're not. Rugby is a little bit different to any other sport because of the intensity and the impact it has on your body. So the recovery period is a little bit longer. So I understand that in terms of managing the workload of the players. What I do like about this format and what's coming, if it is ratified, is the fact that this is going to bring more money into rugby, and meaning that rugby players now have a longer shelf life and are able to play in their home countries a lot longer, rather than trying to go to France or Japan just to make a few lolly.
Absolutely, and I think that's one of the biggest positives, because if you're talking about $2 billion guaranteed revenue for the World Game, now we're beginning to talk about figures, Mark, that are the equal of football. And so rugby, in terms of stature and in terms of just the way it's able to remunerate its top stars, will be able to match even the football teams.
Yeah, look, somebody's making money out of this. Maybe it's some sports marketing team that's going to make a lot of lolly out of this deal.
Pause. You can say it. You can say it. It's a TV networks.
Yeah,
they're the ones making the money.
But what's going to happen to things like the Six Nations, the Rugby Championship, the internationals, the November internationals?
I think the Six Nations has been guaranteed.
Nations is covered.
Yeah, the Six Nations will continue in its format, and as well as the Rugby Championship as well will be there.
Is there not going to be too much rugby?
But the autumn internationals are scrapped. Those ones are gone. Yeah, those ones are gone.
The incoming and outgoing tours, forget it. Done. And here's the thing, pause. For me, it's a good one.
I want to get my head around this.
It's a good one because here's the thing. On the let's look at the incoming and outgoing tours. Sometimes you'll get New Zealand will play everyone but Ireland. for instance.
Yeah, no, sure.
And then in this format, it guarantees that everyone plays everybody at least once.
And do you think then we get a clearer indication as to which is the best team in world rugby?
Yes.
Because you are guaranteed to play each other over the course of the year. Because what we've had, when England was on the rise, when England rose to second, they rose it over the 2 years. They didn't get to play the All Blacks.
Everything's revolved on ranking points.
Yes, exactly.
So the ranking points will obviously then be done away with.
Yeah.
Because this will determine who is number one, who is number two, etc.
The true number one, the true number two.
Now, one person who shares pauses pessimism for the project is former All Blacks rugby coach, that is Sir Graham Henry, who believes that this competition could kill the sport.
Oh, it won't happen, I don't think. As you say, only the 12 nations that are being included will develop, the rest won't, including the Pacific Islands. And the players don't want it. They're overplayed now, so that's not going to happen. I think it's going to kill the Rugby World Cup, because you're going to have a mini Rugby World Cup every year, and so the interest in which is the flagship of rugby, and you don't want it every year, and that's just going to kill it, and people are going to lose interest.
Now, say Graham Henry's point there, which he brings up, and it's a
valid one.
It's a valid one, which is in the present format of World Rugby, you do get the situations where Fiji will play Australia, Samoa gets to play New Zealand every year. I think there's a guaranteed fixture that the All Blacks play against Samoa. You do then get the United States of America able to mix it up. Ireland has toured the United States of America. The All Blacks have gone to play on Soldier Field in Chicago. Now with this format here, and this is now, of course, backing Poz's argument that, he's a bit pessimistic, because what happens to the second-tier nations and their growth and their development?
I have an answer for that for both Poz and Sir Graham Henry, and I hope they're both listening. I can guarantee that Poz.
Well, you get 50% yes.
Yeah. For me, let's look at the HSBC 7th Circuit and the way that it's developed and grown. There were many nations that weren't included at the Genesis. Just like at the Genesis now, we're having those 12 nations that are going to play each other and continue in that top tier. There will come a B League, in inverted commas, where we can then start having relegation and promotion and start having that
which is what Europe has done in football.
Exactly. It's again a similar format to the Nations League, the European Nations League, which again has assisted the development of the game, whereby you're playing competitive games week in, week out.
Okay, let's take his second point. Okay, I hear what you're saying. Let's take his second point. And he says it's going to kill the Rugby World Cup. I agree with him 100%. It will kill the Rugby World Cup. The Rugby World Cup is a prestigious tournament. We're going to have a mini World Cup every year. So what's it going to do? People are going to lose interest.
Another good point. It's just another very good point, because
it's another big tournament.
It is. That one I don't have an answer to.
You don't have an answer? Well, that one I don't have an answer for. Let's hope there's a listener who does have an answer. And if you do have an answer, why don't you hook up with us on Twitter and Facebook? Follow and interact with @ZFM Sport. We'd love to continue with that discussion, but we'd love to give you an update with what's happening elsewhere in the world of sport, as well as, of course, giving you some Sean Paul and the Pro Feeds trivia, the daily sports trivia, where you can also send in your hashtags on our WhatsApp number 0731 168 045.
Hi, my name is Luke Baamute, Los Angeles Clippers small forward, and you're listening to ZiFM Sport.
Around the world in 60 seconds, international sports news.
Since Luke Baamute started us and got us into around the world in 60 seconds, I was about to say gone in 60 seconds. We'll start with some NBA news out of Atlanta, where James Harden became the first player in NBA history to score 30-plus points against all 29 opponents in a single season, as he led the Houston Rockets to victory over the Atlanta Hawks. Harden supplied 31 points and 10 assists, and Clint Capella added 26 points and 11 rebounds as the Houston Rockets won their third straight game with a 121-105 win. The The Rockets have won 12 of their last 13 games overall and 10 of their last 13 road games. Over to Texas now. Deontay Wilder insists he can't wait to take on Anthony Joshua in an undisputed world heavyweight title fight. Wilder will defend his WBC title against Dominic Breazeale on the 18th of May before Joshua defends his IBF, WBA and WBO gold belts against Jarrell Big Baby Miller on the 1st of June. Although negotiations have stalled in the past, there is a fresh hope that victories for Joshua and Wilder in their respective defenses will set up what would be one of the biggest heavyweight fights in history, and we are all waiting for it. In London, which is where we land, Billy Vunipola insists England have no need to panic about their Six Nations setbacks because they remain on course to excel at the World Cup. Head coach Eddie Jones has spoken on Saturday's fixture with Scotland as a chance to make a statement ahead of this autumn's competition. But where they had started the day hoping to finish as champions, they finished it regretting a second half collapse. England surrendered a 31-point advantage before falling behind and eventually securing a 38-all draw. For all of their relative instability, 26-year-old Vunipola is unconcerned. That's your sport in 60.
ZiFM stereo is untouchable.
The Daily Sports Trivia question is brought to you by Profeeds. Profeeds, your feed and farm professionals.
It is competition time. If you have sent us a WhatsApp message with the hashtag Profeeds Trivia, now could be your time. So how does it work? Well, we'll field you 2 questions, and if you get both correct, you'll be our daily winner and in with a chance of winning this month's fabulous prize, which is a 4-plate Capri gas stove and oven. Our second draw of the year will be on Friday, the 29th of March. Our quizmaster tonight is Michael.
Oh, thank you very much. And on the line we have Tino. Tino, good evening.
Hey, Bear. Hey, Mike.
Hey, how are you doing?
How are you?
Where you at, Tino?
I'm from England.
Good. As long as msingadire jecha hayo tinopindirana. Which team do you support?
I'm a big Arsenal fan, man.
You're a big Arsenal fan, and do you follow Do you follow any other sport apart from soccer?
No, the thing is, for me, you've got to have one love. My first love was not. After that, yes, there's Lewis Hamilton for Formula One. There's Roger Federer, of course, the big 100. But Jaizu, you've got to have one love.
You're gonna have one love.
Lovely. Come on.
Nice one. Are you ready for your questions?
I hope so. Nice to be you guys.
Nice.
Well,
the man who cooks.
We hope you've been listening. Okay, your first question, it's a local question. Who has scored the most goals for the Zimbabwe Warriors in the current AFCON qualification campaign? Is it Kama Billiot, Knowledge Musona, or Knox Mutizwa?
Knowledge Musona. Big captain.
A nice one. I love
one.
your confidence, buddy. He's actually scored 4 goals in this current qualification campaign, and there are only 2 players on the continent who have scored more than him. Your second question is international. Which country is hosting the 2019 Rugby World Cup? Which country is hosting the 2019 Rugby World Cup?
Oh my God, I'm not going to get this one.
Come on. We talked about it. Do you need a clue?
Does
you don't listen to radio when you're cooking?
Do you need a clue?
From your bow.
Okay, it's called the Land of the Rising Sun.
Yes, that's an easy one. Or do the words cherry blossom mean anything to you?
The Land of the Rising Sun. Their flag is white with a big red circle.
Now that's
China?
a giveaway.
Japan?
Yeah. Japan.
Yeah,
Japan. Tino, you owe me a favor, buddy. We literally had to drag you over the line.
Tino, were you just hoping that it was one of the two? He was like China, Japan.
I was going to brag about me being a PE boy, but now I know Mike is my name.
We never celebrated you guys for your academic prowess, so don't worry.
Don't listen to him. You're forever a blue blood, brother. Forever a blue blood.
Yeah,
stay tuned to the show and thanks for playing, Bud. And we'll also let everyone know that we'll be holding our prestigious Pro Feeds Arlington International from the 12th to the 14th of April this year. This is a premier event in the eventing equine calendar with 6 countries including Zimbabwe competing. The other countries are Zambia, South Africa, Kenya, Swaziland, Namibia, and of course the host Zimbabwe. We're expecting between 130 to 150 competitors in various categories.
Everyone is welcome to enjoy 3 days of high-octane entertainment with lots of thrills and hopefully no spills on offer. Bring your umbrellas, chairs, and come and enjoy what is on offer from Africa's finest equine athletes. Entry will be RTGS $5 per head each day, and full bar and catering will be available.
The Daily Sports Trivia question was brought to you by ProFeeds. ProFeeds, the performance feed.
Are you looking for the best education for your child? Well, look no further. Bradford Senior School is enrolling from Form 1 to 6 now. Bradford is a modern school that not only offers the SIMSTEC examination, but also offers Cambridge International Exam Syllabus and Examination. We have state-of-the-art computer laboratories and learning facilities, as well as well-equipped science labs. Free Wi-Fi is available for all students, and we also offer tutored classes and intensive examination coaching. The teacher-to-student ratio is 1:20, and we have highly competent teachers. Bradford is located 10 kilometers from the CBD along Blaauer Road at number 23 Pleasant Valley Road in Tinwald. And transport is provided for students within Harare. So call us now on 0776 797 624 or 04327 240 and 04327 257, or visit our website bradford.co.zw.
Ha! My friends and family yako in South Africa can pay for your DSTV subscription in rands at all ShopRite, Checkers, and Pick and Pay outlets, or any Kazang pay point. They'll just need to request a pay at bill payment from the cashier when they name your package that they'll be paying for. And check that the country code 11687 is used before the first 10 digits of your smart card number. Keep the family engaged and connected to the power of great entertainment.
It's the Rumble in the Jungle as the Warriors of Zimbabwe take on the Red Devils of Congo in the Africa Cup Nations Qualifier. Yes, it's going down on the 24th of March 2019 live at the National Sports Stadium. Who will survive the inferno and stand out victorious? You don't want to miss this. So get your tickets now at www.clickandpay.africa. You can also purchase using EcoCash, Telecash, MasterCard, Visa, or ZimSwitch. For tickets to be bought in advance, that means no tickets at the gate. Tickets are going for $10 rest of the ground, $50 bay, $15 to $18, and $200 for VIP. Entertainment from Enzo Aishal, Tar Signal, Sniper Storm, Judgment Yard, and many more. Gates will close at 1:30 p.m. and the match starts at 3 p.m. You've got to be there.
To all you Twitter heads, connect with ZiFM Stereo on twitter.com/ZiFM Stereo /ZiFM Stereo.
The big leagues, the big teams, the big players. The beautiful game on ZiFM Sport. All the rivalry.
The captain likes the touch paper. It is blue touch paper. Always him on Derby Day.
All the stars.
Absolutely brilliant again from Mo Salah. The twinkling feet, the ice cool finish, the Egyptian on fire.
And all the game-changing moments.
Aguero!
All the updates from the Premier League on ZiFM Sport.
This is the league we want to watch.
Reports coming through from England indicate that Manchester City are closing in on a deal for Saúl Ñíguez after moving ahead of Barcelona in the race to sign the Atletico Madrid midfielder. According to sources, City manager Pep Guardiola has identified Saúl as a long-term replacement for Fernandinho, having failed to beat Barcelona to the signing of first-choice Frankie de Jong from Ajax Amsterdam. De Jong rejected interest from City and PSG in January to sign a pre-contract agreement with Barca ahead of a €75 million move to the Camp Nou. You've got to say that De Jong would have been a better pick. I mean, we've seen that young man, his exploits in the Champions League, especially in that game versus Real Madrid. Those alloys that didn't know much about Frankie De Jong were able to see for themselves the quality that he has brought, not just to Ajax, but also to the Dutch national team, which has done so ably in the Nations tournament in Europe. They were able to see firsthand that this young man, even at that young age, is already an accomplished operator.
He is. That's why he is in demand. You know, when you watch, you can actually, you know, he plays in an unfamiliar position that is not fancy, you know, for everybody to just see, but he is actually doing it. You know, you can actually notice him when he plays. You know, it's a position that is reserved for grafters, for those guys that all do the dirty job. They call it the dirty job.
Yeah. But he does it differently.
But he does it differently. Exactly, he does it with this finesse, with this silky. You know, it's silky the way he does it. You know, he combines skill and that grit that you want, I think, and for a youngster, and he's still going to develop. So you can only imagine how much he's going to develop and what kind of a player he will be when he's like 28, 29.
Let's take a look at Saul, the guy who's now been picked as an alternative, Barry, by Pep Guardiola. A good enough replacement?
Oh, fantastic. I mean, we've seen him and what he's done for Atletico Madrid. And to do it at Atletico Madrid and show that he's got that nuanced way of playing, the same way that you described De Jong, Saul Niguez is almost similar and has got those qualities as well. So for me, I think that it'll be a good replacement if Man City can get it over the line for Fernandinho. Fernandinho himself, big shoes to fill, but this is a worthy replacement.
And is this a mark of a good side, a stable side, Mark? The fact that even before the season is over, they're already identifying their targets, they're already making efforts to sign the next generation of players. We've seen with Barcelona as well. They've already made a couple of signings of players who are coming in next season. Does this show that Man City, not content with how well they've done this season, are looking to do even better next season?
You know what? I think it's a trend that's starting to happen now. I mean, we were talking before we came on air, and we were talking about Paulo Dybala, that there's a chance that he could go to Liverpool. So and it's not just speculation from one source; it's from a number of different sources. So one would want to think, or would like to think, that these clubs like Man City, Barcelona, Liverpool, they're actually trying to do their business early, ahead of the new season, get it done, and have a plan in place. And I think that's basically what it's all about.
And it's all about making sure that you have enough pre-season with these new players, isn't it, Aloy, so that they learn the new system, they learn the expectations of the new club. Yes, they may have the quality, but they may not have the tactical awareness that is required to be playing in a certain position at a certain club.
Yeah, you know, sometimes it's also about watching. They start getting interested in watching the matches of the team that they're going to be playing for. They can actually identify where they fit in, how they can also play and all that. And these teams as well, they are actually looking at a long-term domination, not just a long-term squad, long-term domination. They know that we can win the league here, we want to win it again next year, we want to win against the following year. So they are already planning for a long-term domination period.
Right, Manchester United are reportedly front runners in the race to sign Atletico Madrid striker Antonio Griezmann. The France forward, who turned down the chance to join Barcelona last summer, now wants to leave the club, and according to Spanish newspaper Sport, United are favourites to sign the prolific striker, with Bayern Munich also in the chase. Griezmann has scored 18 goals and contributed 8 assists in all competitions for Atletico this season. Bunji would say that he's not happy. There's no silverware for Atletico Madrid this season. Knocked out of the Champions League. They're 10 points behind Barcelona in La Liga. So he was promised the earth, and he's walking away with empty pockets, basically, with no silverware this season. So he's going to go.
Yeah, I think he has. You know, Atletico Madrid, I think they haven't achieved. For me, I think it's a bad season, dull season, and all that. And I think also for me, I think the coach needs to move on. I think it's time he does move on and let
Diego Simeone.
Yeah, Diego, he needs to move on and go for a different challenge, and maybe another coach can rejuvenate this club.
Okay, let's talk about Griezmann. We'll talk about Simeone.
Okay. Yeah,
Barry, my question to you is: would Griezmann be a better fit at Manchester United or at Bayern Munich?
For me, I think that he would be a good signing for either team. And in terms of a fit, I think he's a good fit for United. Also a good fit for Bayern Munich, because remember, Bayern Munich, I think the way that they're framing their business, the way that they're framing the things that they're doing over there, they're also going to be rebuilding certain areas and facets of their team. So I think in both instances, he's an easy fit. However, guys, we've just spoken about Man City. We've just spoken about Manchester United. You slipped in Liverpool, Mark Pos. If you look at it, the clubs in England, that thing that we lauded last season of the transfer window closing at the start of the season is bearing fruit now.
Yes,
because teams are having to do their business early, make sure that they get a full preseason with the team. We haven't got the speculation going into the season. As soon as the horses leave the starting gate, it's races away.
Absolutely. I like it because it allows teams at the start of the season to know that we've got this is our squad.
Yes, how to prepare.
And this is how we are going to be for the next 6 months.
Yep.
So they know that they've got relative stability unless someone makes a bid in January. So that for me is good. What I hated was for some of the smaller clubs and some of the medium-sized clubs, as it were, for lack of a better term, for them to get to the last day of August and then they have
top player.
then lose their top players and then not have enough time to do business to bring in players, and then teams start struggling. You know, that the old system benefited the big clubs with money who could literally come in last minute and arm twist smaller clubs into selling them their best talent. So this new system here requires you to do your business before the season starts. I like it. I love it. That's what's pushing now these teams to try and do their business early.
It is actually lovely, you know, even for players as well. It's good for the players because
you know
they
what
have got time. You know what you're doing. You know what you want to do. Even like, let's say Griezmann wants to leave Atletico. He should actually do his business as well, negotiate and know where he's going for next season.
Horsepower unmatched. Torque to beat the best. Speed unrivaled. Sleek and easy on the eye. Let's get behind the wheel of football engineered to perfection. The Bundesliga, made in Germany.
Let me tell you something about Sean Tafirinika. He weaves this show together with a golden thread, I'll tell you what, because now we're talking about Bayern Munich. We were just talking about them, and they'll embark on their biggest investment program ever to rebuild the squad following a limp exit from the Champions League, according to President Uli Hoeneß. While Bayern are in pole position to win the Bundesliga, they were eliminated in Europe by Liverpool in the round of 16 after a laboured performance, beaten 3-1 at the Allianz Arena in the second leg earlier this month. For the first time in 8 years, the Bavarians failed to reach the quarterfinals. Not a good return whatsoever, and they're unhappy about that, and they're going to rebuild.
Yeah, they should be unhappy. You know, I watched the match against Liverpool. They were a pale shadow of themselves. And I don't know which game they were playing. That was not Bayern Munich. I think
Liverpool was just good.
Now, when they had the ball, they were not moving the ball. You know, I was praising them before that match, that they are one of the best teams that rotate that ball on the field. They did nothing of that sort, and they were like lethargic. And I see a wholesale change in that team. They need like an overhaul, and they need to regain their play. They need Pep Guardiola, who can actually change the whole setup. I don't know where they're going to get a second Pep.
Alternatively, I think one of the reasons why Bayern Munich used to do well is that in the wide areas they had two of the best attackers. You know, Frank Ribery and Robin. Those two players are now in their twilight. They are now tired. They don't have the speed. You know, when they do play, they play 3 games. They are out for 5 and things like that.
And Ribery is now dribbling, going backwards. He goes forward, he goes back.
Yeah, absolutely. So they need to be refreshed in that area, not by bringing in the likes of Gnabry. He's a decent player, but he's not world class. Kingsley Coman, again, he's decent, but he's not world class. They need players of the likes of Griezmann, players like your Dembele, but I don't think they'll be. They need players of that, you know, world class players, because
they do.
Teams like Bayern Munich, it's like what I said about Real Madrid again last week, that Real Madrid is not judged by how they compete against the other team. They're judged by Barcelona. Similarly with Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich is judged by the top clubs in Europe. So they're competing with Barcelona. They're competing with Real Madrid. They're looking at Juventus. They're looking at Manchester City. Those are the teams that they have to compete with.
And Bayern Munich needs to start competing in that top shelf of transfers, Paz, and you got to look at some of the names linked there. We talked about Griezmann, we talked about Bale. Those are the sort of names they need to be chasing.
Big time. Big time.
If they want to compete at the highest level, those are the names they need.
Zimbabwe's finest free. ZiFM Stereo.
Or maybe they should make a bid for Harry Kane.
There you go.
I don't think he can make that move from England to Germany.
Where you want Harry Kane go?
Well, let's talk a bit about Harry Kane. He believes that 2019 will be even more successful than last year for England if they win the Nations League finals in June. Gareth Southgate defied the odds to guide his side to the semi-finals of the World Cup last year, but Kane feels securing silverware with success in the Nations League in Portugal would surpass 2018's achievement. Your thoughts on this one? Can England get better, Barry?
They can, because they've got a young squad and they've got a young coach, and I think that the future is certainly bright for England, barring any sort of third force that comes in and destabilizes things. The way that it looks right now, it's looking good for England.
Alois, England has got some very young and exciting players. You know, Jadon Sancho at Borussia Dortmund, Raheem Sterling.
Look at that.
You know, these are really good young attacking players playing right now at the peak of their powers.
Yep.
Yeah, of course. We spoke about it yesterday. Remember, we said that England he can't do anything wrong at the moment. He can't move away from England for anything, and everybody loves him. You know, he is the boss. And for me, I already predicted that England, come Qatar 2022, with this young team, they are going to compete. Semi-final, I'll be disappointed if they get knocked out before the semi-finals in Qatar 2022.
Oh my goodness, we're making predictions for 2022.
Yes, already.
That's how far we look forward here on this show. My goodness, you can't get this anywhere else on radio. But you'll have to wait until tomorrow because we have to go now. May God richly bless you. That's my story. And I'm sticking to it. Manande, out.
Be sure to catch ZiFM Sport every weekday on ZiFM Stereo. My station, your station.